Shishi Gauranitai ki, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Samaveda Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki, Jai Nittai Gaur Pramanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Shishi Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. A reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 15, Text 41. Please repeat. Vidyutshipan makara kundala madanarha. Vidyutshipan makara kunda mandanarha. Vidyutshipan makara kundala mandanarha. Gandhastano lasamukam manimat kiritam. Gandhastano lasamukam manimat kiritam. Dordanda shanda vivare harata parardhya. Dordanda shanda vivare harata parardhya. Hare na kandaragate na chakaustubena. Hare na kandaragate na chakaustubena. Vidyutshipam makara kundala mandanarha. Gandhastano nasamukam manimat kiritam. Gandhastano nasamukam manimat kiritam. Stalo nasamukam. Dordanda shanda vivare harata parardhya. Hare na kandaragate na chakaustubena. Vidyutshipan makara kundala mandanarha. Gandhastalo nasamukam manimat kiritam. Dordanda shanda vivare harata parardhya. Hare na kandaragate na chakaustubena. Vidyutshipan mandakundala mandanarha. Gandhastalo nasamukam manimat kiritam. Dordanda shanda vivare harata parardhya. Hare na kandaragate na chakaustubena. Vidyutshipan makara kundala mandanarha. Gandhastalo nasamukam manimat kiritam. Dordandashan. Hare na kandaragate na chakaustubena. Vidyutshipan makarakundala mandanarha. Gandhastalo nasamukam manimat kiritam. Dordanda shanda vivare harata parardya. Hare na kandaragate na chakaustubena. Mataji. Vidyutshipan makarakundala mandanarha. Gandhastalo nasamukam manimat kiritam. Dordanda shanda vivare harata parardya. Hare na kandaragate na chakaustubena. Vidyutshipan makarakundala mandanarha. Gandhastalo nasamukam manimat kiritam. Dordanda shanda vivare harata parardya. Hare nakandaragate na chakaustubena. What our translation? Vidyut, lightning. Shipat, outshining. Makara, alligator shaped. Kundala, earrings. Mandana, decoration. Arha, as it fits. Gandhastala, cheeks. Unnasa, prominent nose. Mukam, countenance. Manimat, gem-studded. Kiritam, crown. Dodhanda, of his 4 stout arms. Sanda, group. Vivare, between. Harata, charming. Para ardhya, by the most precious. Harena, necklace. Kandaragatena, adorning his neck. Cha, and Kaustubena, by the Kaustuba jewel. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Abhay Sharanaravinda, Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki. His countenance was distinguished by cheeks that enhanced the beauty of his alligator-shaped pendants, which outshone lightning. His nose was prominent and his head was covered with a gem-studded crown. A charming necklace hung between his stout arms, and his neck was adorned with the gem known by the name Kaustuba. There's no purport, so I'll read the next verse. Atropasrishtamiti chotmitamindriyaha swanam diya virachitam bahu sautavadhyam mayyam bhavasya bhavatam cha bhajantamangam nemur nirikshana vitripta drisho mudakai. Translation. The exquisite beauty of Narayana, being many times magnified by the intelligence of his devotees, was so attractive that it defeated the pride of the goddess of fortune in being the most beautiful. My dear demigods, the Lord who thus manifested himself is worshipable by me, by Lord Shiva, and by all of you. The sages regarded him with unsated eyes and joyously bowed their heads at his lotus feet. Purport. The beauty of the Lord was so enchanting that it could not be sufficiently described. The goddess of fortune is supposed to be the most beautiful sight within the spiritual and material creations of the Lord. She has a sense of being the most beautiful. Yet, her beauty was defeated when the Lord appeared. In other words, the beauty of the goddess of fortune is secondary in the presence of the Lord. In the words of the Vaishnava poets, it is said that the Lord's beauty is so enchanting that it defeats hundreds of thousands of cupids. He is therefore called Madana Mohana. It is also described that the Lord sometimes becomes mad after the beauty of Radharani. Poets describe that under those circumstances, although Lord Krishna is Madana Mohana, he becomes Madana Daha, or enchanted by the beauty of Radharani. Actually, the Lord's beauty is super excellent, surpassing even the beauty of Lakshmi in Vaikuntha. The devotees of the Lord in the Vaikuntha planets want to see the Lord as the most beautiful. But the devotees in Goloka or Krishna Loka want to see Radharani as more beautiful than Krishna. Haribol. The adjustment is that the Lord, being Bhaktavatsala, or one who wants to please his devotees, assumes such features so that devotees like Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and other demigods may be pleased. Here also, for the devotee sages, the Kumaras, the Lord appeared in his most beautiful feature, and they continued to see him without satiation and wanted to continue seeing him more and more. Om Jnanatimmirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Shadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. I'll read the translations again. His countenance was distinguished by cheeks that enhanced the beauty of his alligator-shaped pendants, which outshone lightning. His nose was prominent and his head was covered with a gem-studded crown. A charming necklace hung between his stout arms, and his neck was adorned with a gem known by the name Kaustuba. Text 42, the exquisite beauty of Narayana, being many times magnified by the intelligence of his devotees, was so attractive that it defeated the pride of the goddess of fortune in being the most beautiful. My dear demigods, the Lord who thus manifested himself is worshipable by me, by Lord Shiva, and by all of you. The sages regarded him with unsated eyes and joyously bowed their heads at his lotus feet. Chapter title, The Description of the Kingdom of God. Hare Krishna. So we are continuing on this description of the Kingdom of God that's narrated by Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma is actually describing to the demigods about how once the four Kumaras, being in the body of little kids or little child, they wandered throughout this universe and they went to Vaikuntha. And Vaikuntha has many entrances, 7 entrances it's given. They cleared all the entrances. When they go to the 7th entrance, which is the innermost sanctum, they were stopped by Jai and Vijay. And then in that pastime, Jay and Vijay stop them. The four Kumaras still insist they want to step in, and at that time, Vishnu comes out. So this description by Lord Brahma is about how the four Kumaras perceived the form of Vishnu. So this series of verses we are reading describes about how when the four Kumaras, when they are seeing Vishnu for the first time, what they saw. And in many instances in Shastras you will see same descriptions being repeated. 11th chapter of Bhagavad-Gita comes to mind. So if you see 11th canto on Virat Rupa, if you read, you will see certain section being repeated again and again. And you would think sometimes it's a printing mistake or somebody just copy-pasted too many times. But if you scrutinized it a little more carefully, you will understand it's the same description but spoken by three different personalities. First, Krishna would tell to Arjuna, behold this Vishwarupa, in which you can see so many things. He would narrate. And then Krishna, after saying that, he would then exhibit the Virat Rupa form. Arjuna would look at it, and then Arjuna would acknowledge, yes, my Lord, I see unlimited heads. So you will see same verses being repeated again. From Arjuna's perspective, how he sees. And then who is the secondary audience here? Sanjaya. He is sitting in the palace of Hastinapur and he narrates the same thing. He says, this is what Krishna said, this is what Arjuna said, by the way, this is what I see. And again he'll repeat the same thing. So you'll see this form of Supreme Lord being narrated. We are about 20 devotees here. As you walk out of this room, if I actually ask you, unless you tell one beautiful feature of Gopinath, no breakfast today. I'm pretty sure everyone will say something. Krishna was wearing blue, green, yellow. So each one of us have our own way of perceiving the Supreme Lord, and Supreme Lord can attract all of us equally. Tvam bhakti yoga paribhavita hrit saroja ase surekshitapato nanunata pumsam yadyad vibhav yadyad, how does it go? Yadyad diyo cha urgaya vibhavayanti tad vapu pranayase tad anugrahaya. This is Lord Brahma saying. He is saying Supreme Lord is one, but each one of us have a very special relationship with Him. And Supreme Lord, knowing the desires in the core of our heart, will manifest that form, unique form, exclusively just for each one of us. So it's perfectly fine to be attached to one form of Lord, one deity form of the Lord. So these verses, if you read the purport, Prabhupada actually says, starting from Narayana, and then he's talking about description of Krishna, and then finally he's talking about beauty of Srimati Radharani. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, it's given Krishna's perfect always, Om Purnamada Purnamidam only, but he is perfect, more perfect, most perfect. Perfect in Vaikuntha, more perfect in Dwaraka, most perfect in Vrindavana. Vraje Krishna Sarvaishwarya Prakashe Purnatama Puri Dvaye Paravyome Purnatara Purna. It's given Purna Purnatara Purnatama. Purna means complete. Purnatara means more complete. Purnatama means most complete. So Krishna is complete in Vaikuntha, but he is more complete in Mathura and Dwaraka, and most complete in Goloka Vrindavan. So if you read the purport today, Prabhupada is taking the narration from Vaikuntha to Dwaraka, and then he is taking all the way to Goloka Vrindavan. So if you look at the description, again, whenever the description of Lord Vishnu comes, Sa Shankha Chakram, Shakarita Kuntalam, Shapita Vastram, Sarasi Ruhekshanam. It's given in Vishnu Stuti. Sa means with. Sa Shanka Chakram. That Supreme Lord who is with Shanka and Chakra. Sa Shanka Chakram. Kirita Kundalam. Kirita means crown, studded with all gems. The crown that's made of gold. Sapita Vastram. He wears yellow garments. And same description you will see, put in different words. But again, how different devotees perceive. Sarasiru Hekshanam. He whose eyes, Sarasa, Avatar hi Asankyeya, Hare Sattva Nide Dvija, Yatra Vidashina Tulya, Sarasasyu Sahasrashaha. Sarasa means like. What grows out of the lake? Sarasiruha means that which resembles that born from lake. Lotus is born from lake. His eyes, Sarasiruha, Akshanam. His eyes look like that which sprouts from lake. That's what it means. Okay, so his eyes looks like lotus. Sarasiru Hekshanam. Sahara Vakshas, Stalashobi, Kaustubam. Stahara means his neck is adorned with beautiful garlands. Yesterday somebody asked, I think Ravi Prabhu was asking. In previous verses it's given in one place, the bees were humming around the flowers of his garland. Another place it's given, the bees were humming around the tulasi adorning his neck. So question was, which garland was he wearing? Was he wearing tulsi garland? Or was he wearing flower garland? Krishna wears Sahara. Krishna wears Vaijayanti garland. Vaijayanti is not the name of one flower. Technically, Vaijayanti means 5 colors. If you go to temples, South Indian temples, here also you may see, but South India it's very prominent. If you go to any temple, just outside the temple they call it Kadamba. It's a mix of all flowers. So Krishna wears a garland that is made of 5 different flowers. And that garland that is made of 5 flowers in 5 different colors is called Vaijayanti garland. And the names of the flowers are also given. Kunda, Mandara, Parijata, Kamala, Tulasi. Kunda is white in color. All of them are fragrant. It's mentioned the garlands are so fragrant, even as Krishna walks, the fragrance of that garland will go ahead of him. So Kunda, Mandara, Parijata. We have heard Parijata. The flower that's in heavenly kingdom, but this is spiritual flower. The one that's here, it's the material version of Parijata. Krishna wears spiritual Parijata. Kamala, which is lotus, and then Tulasi. It's mentioned each of the flower garland that Krishna is wearing, Tulasi is actually interspersed between, that's like the color splitter, if you like. So, Tulasi, Manjaris are also like that. Now, in terms of fragrance, coming to that point, the bees, are they humming around flowers or are they humming around Tulasi? Prabhupada is actually explaining this point. Generally, from a mundane perspective, if we ask people about fragrant flowers, people will say jasmine, frangipani, nagashampak, mohara, even lotus, some may say. But Prabhupada is saying only spiritually advanced personalities can smell the fragrance of lotus, tulasi. Just like when Krishna says, Naham Prakasha Sarvasya Yoga Maya Samavrita, Krishna says, I am everywhere, I am omnipresent, however, I am not manifest to people who are demoniac. Same way, Tulasi Maharani being spiritual plant, her fragrance cannot be smelled by anyone other than those endowed with pure devotion. Interesting. So even us, we can't smell the fragrance of Tulsi. Prabhupada explains that is possible only for spiritually advanced personalities. Just like we say Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena, that's just for eyes. Likewise, for each of the senses, we need to gain some advancement in order to be able to even smell the fragrance. But Prabhupada is explaining, but the bees, they are spiritually advanced personalities. When they are close to Krishna's garland, they are able to smell Tulsi. Sa Shanka Chakram, Sa Kirita Kundalam, Sa Pita Vastram, Sarasi Ruhekshanam, Sa Hara, he whose neck is adorned by garland that's made of Vaijayanti garland or Vaijayanti flowers, 5 different flowers of 5 different colors. So this is the form of Vishnu. Namami Vishnum Shirasha Chaturbhujam, it's given. His neck is also Stalashobi Kaustubam. Krishna has a beautiful jewel around his neck. If you go to Vaikunta, where people are having Sarupya Mukti, people who look exactly like the Supreme Lord, there are still some distinguishing features of the Supreme Lord. One of them is a tuft of hair which Krishna has on his chest, which other jivas, despite having same form as Vishnu, they don't possess. Jai Shri Shri Radha Gopinath Bhagwan ki. So that's called Srivatsa. Similar to Srivatsa, one other feature which is a distinguishing aspect for the Supreme Lord only in comparison to other jivas who even though resemble like the Supreme Lord in Vaikunta is Kaustubha jewel. Only Krishna wears Kaustubha jewel. Kaustubha is a jewel that adorns his chest, and Kaustubha jewel is made in the shape of a baby calf. That's Kaustubha jewel. Namami Vishnu Shirasha Chaturbhujam. To that 400 form of Vishnu, I bow down my head. So this is Vishnu Stuti. This is the description that's actually given about Lord Vishnu. Purna. Purna Tara. The form of Vishnu who is more complete is Dwarakadish, Mathuradish. That Supreme Lord who is the king of Dwaraka, prince of Dwaraka. Shrutva gunan bhuvana sundara shrinvatam te nirvishya karna vivarer haratongatapam rupam drisham drishimatam akhilartalabam tvayachyuta vishati chittam apatrapam me. This is the opening line of the love letter which Rukmini Devi sends to Krishna. In the kingdom of Vidarbha, ruled by Bhishmaka, she is the princess. Rukmini describing about Krishna is very unique. Acharya's comment that Rukmini personifies the heart of a very seriously practicing devotee. Unlike gopis, unlike even great sages, you see descriptions of Brahma Samhita, we sing Govinda Adi Purusham. Or you see description of Krishna given by Shukadeva Goswami. Gopis, each one of these personalities, they see Krishna. Even Arjuna, they see Krishna and they narrate what they see. But Rukmini writes this beautiful letter even before seeing Krishna. She has simply heard about Krishna. Sometimes we think, if we haven't seen Krishna, how can we develop attachment? Rukmini is the proof it is possible. Now she is actually about to be married to Shishupal the next day. So she is calling a Brahmana as a messenger and sends him to Krishna to meet Krishna in Dwaraka with the letter. And as Krishna is opening the letter, this is the very first verse. And if you read the description of what she is saying, it's pretty straightforward. And you will understand she is a very strong, bold princess. She just cuts to the chase and says it to the point. Shrutva gunan bhuvana sundara. Oh beauty of the worlds. This is the opening line. Oh beauty of the worlds. Bhuvana sundara. Shrutva gunan bhuvana sundara shrinvatam te. Oh beauty of the worlds. simply by hearing about your qualities. Nirvishya karna vivarayar. If one lets the glories of your transcendental qualities enter their ears. Nirvishya karna vivarayar haratong. What will that do? Whatever bodily distress one have will go away straight away. Harata means destroying. Harata angatapam. You have cold? Hear Krishna Katha. You have a headache? Hear Krishna Katha. This is the boon Rukmini ji is giving. Shrutva gunan bhuvana sundara shrinvatamte nirvishya karna vivarer haratongatapam. Any kind of bodily distress will be destroyed if one hears about your glorious qualities. This is the first two lines. The next two lines she says something interesting. Shrutva gunan bhuvana sundara shrinvatamte nirvishya karna vivarer haratongatapam rupam drisham drishimatam akilartha labam. She is saying every sense has certain attraction for sense objects. Just like ears, they may like to hear something mundane, some passionate music. Tongue, it likes to eat something which is almost always not conducive for our health. Somehow every tasty food is bad for health. I have seen that, Anything you take, wow, nice. No, bad for health. So, tongue also has got that. Eyes also have certain sense objects. Nose also, we may think, nose look very innocent. No. I'll tell you proof. Morning after offering nourishing oil, we started to offer it back, give the Mahaprasad to devotees. I love seeing it. I always apply. If I walk around, I apply and I'll sometimes stand and watch. Till this point, you won't see any expression in devotee's face. Once they smell, they start to smile. Have you seen that? Sense gratification. But it's good. Spiritual sense gratification. So even nose enjoys. Ears also likewise enjoy. Now if you go for each of the sense, this particular verse, Rukmini ji is saying sense gratification for eyes. Drishtva, Rupam, Drisham, Drishimatam, Akilartha Labam. She is saying, okay, list down all the desires which your eyes have. Oh, I want to see this. I want to see ocean. I like staring at the sky. I like seeing mountains. You like seeing moving waters. So many things. So she's saying, list down all of that. Jai Shri Shri Radha Gopinath Bhagwan Ki Jai. So, she's saying you list down all the desires. Like for tongue, if I ask you to list desires, you would list down. I would like to eat this. Everything unhealthy you would like to list down. Likewise, she's saying you meditate and you list down all the desires which your eyes may have. And then she's saying Rupam Drisham Drishimatam Akilartha Labam means then you look at the face of Radha Gopinath. And what will that vision do? Akilartha Labam. That will give you ultimate sense gratification for the eyes. That you will have nothing more to see. So this is the boon she is giving. If we keep seeing Radha Gopinath, then we will lose taste looking at anything mundane. Rupam Drisham Drishimatam Akilartha Labam Tvai Ashuta Vishay Chittam Apatrapam Me. O beauty of the worlds, hearing about your glories relieves one of all bodily distress. O beautiful faced Lord, looking at your face satiates and satisfies all the visual desires which one may have. Considering all this, I have shamelessly fixed my mind upon you. This is the opening line. That's what it means. Chittam apatrapam me. Shamelessly fix my mind on you. And then she goes on to elaborate on that. I was thinking when I read that, this is the most succinct love letter which, even in a mundane sense, somebody can actually do. She has put everything in there. Mind you, she still hasn't seen Krishna. So she is actually proving the fact that it is indeed possible to develop relationship with Krishna simply by hearing about him. When we chant Hare Krishna, when we hear about the glories of Krishna, it is possible. Purna Tara. Purna is Vaikuntanath, which is Vishnu. Sashanka Chakram, Shakrita Kuntalam, Sapita Vastram, Sarasi Ruhekshanam. So this is Vaikunta Nath. Dwaraka Nath is what Rukminiji is saying. Introducing the Lord of Golok Vrindavan, Vrajendra Nandan Krishna. Krishir Bu Vachaka Shabdo Nascha Nirvritir Vachakaha Tayoraikyam Param Brahma Krishna iti abhidiyate. Krishna means the most attractive person. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami quotes from Mahabharata this verse that says what's the meaning of the word Krishna. Krishna has got two syllables. Krish and Na. Krishi Bu. Bu means attractive. Krishi Bu Vachaka Shabda. So in Krishna, you have two syllables. Krish and Na. Krish means the most attractive person. Krishi Bu Vachaka Shabda. Nacha Nirvriti Vachakaha. Na means he who gives spiritual pleasure. Greatness and sweetness. Tayor Aikyam. So greatness and sweetness, Aikyam, become one. That is Krishna. The greatest personality, most attractive personality, but then he can give spiritual pleasure also. Normally in material sense, if you see, if you look at a certain object, to the extent that you keep on looking, it will have some benefit on you. It will make you a little peaceful. Something which is very pleasing to the eyes. Like, you go for some scenic beauty. When you look at it, you will feel good just for some time. But then, as you walk away from there, slowly, the thought will go into oblivion. You cannot actually retain that. Pleasure will also go away. But as far as Krishna is concerned, anything that you actually see, whether you remember or not, Shastras say, subconsciously it will start to go and work on you. And we will carry that always. Krishibu Vachaka Shabda. That attractiveness will always be there. Nascha Nirvriti Vachakaha. Tayor Aikyam Param Brahma Krishna iti abhidiyate. Attractiveness and sweetness combined together. They give spiritual pleasure. So this is the definition of Krishna that's given in Shastra. Now, if you read 10th canto, there are many descriptions that are actually given about Krishna. In one sense, you will see some verses repeating, but then there will always be, whenever you come across a verse that you think looks familiar, if you read it a bit more carefully, go to word translation, word by word translation, you will always see some extra detail that's given. In 9th canto, towards the end of 9th canto, Shukadeva Goswami narrates Krishna. I was reading it and I found it interesting. Makara Kundala. Makara, we always hear Krishna's earrings. He is wearing shark-shaped earrings. Have you come across that before? But here it said alligator-shaped. Makara is translated as alligator. Alligator, crocodile, remember? It has a U-shaped spout, smaller than crocodile, less aggressive than crocodile. But it doesn't matter, both of them are dangerous to you. So Krishna wears alligator-shaped pendants, kundala, earrings. Yasyananam makara kundala charu karna brajat kapola shubhagam savilasahasam nityotsavam natatribir drishibir pibantyo naryo narascha mutita kupita nimescha. This is the opening line of Actually, the concluding lines of 9th canto as a prelude to 10th canto, which is about to start. Yesterday, Baba Vibhushan Prabhu was actually saying, the smile of Krishna can remove one of all distress. But 10th canto is considered to be the smile of Krishna. So, Krishna book. So, if you want any distress to be removed in your life, read Krishna book. If you don't have one, you can contact our book distribution team. So, this is the beauty of Krishna. If you take Kama Gayatri in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains it has 24 and a half syllables. Each one of them, they represent 24 and a half moons that arise in the form of Krishna. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he compares the beauty of Krishna to 24 and a half moons. And he lists also what is those 24. He says his whole body is a throne that is carrying his moon-like face. So his whole body is the throne in which the moon of the face of Krishna is there, first moon. 2 cheeks, 2 more moons, makes it 3. And then Krishna has a sandalwood dot. Have you seen some artwork of Krishna, even some deities, between the tilak, they'll put one chandan dot, a dot of sandalwood. That's 1 moon. 24, forehead, half. So 4 and a half. 10 fingernails, makes it 14 and a half. 10 toenails, makes it 24 and a half. So this is the description Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving. Next time you go in front of Radha Gopinath, you start to count. How much ever you can see, you can count. Prabhupada, when he installed the very first deity of ISKCON, Jagannath-ji. So Prabhupada said, so whenever you pray to Jagannath-ji, you meditate on his lotus feet. Then devotees say, Prabhupada, we can't see where the feet is. Then Prabhupada said, no, you can meditate on how much ever you can see. But actually Jagannath-ji has lotus feet. If you have deities in home, when you are changing the dress, at that time you notice at the base of Jagannath-ji, you will see toenails. Just like most of the features of Jagannath are drawn with paint, authorized form, you will see feet is also drawn. If you notice it carefully. So you can see. So Prabhupada says, how much ever you can see, you meditate. He has very beautiful toes. So 24 and a half moons. Yasyananam Makara Kundala. His beautiful face is adorned by these 24 and a half moons. Head is decorated by this curly hair. And his beautiful long ears, soft ears, is decorated by shark-shaped or alligator-shaped earrings. Brajat Kapola Shubhakam Savilasahasam. And Krishna is smiling at everyone who is around him. And what kind of smile is that? Savilasahasam. Sometimes, a person who you hate so much, if you see smile in their face, you will feel more irritated, correct? How can they be happy? But with Krishna, it's the converse. It's the opposite. You look at Krishna, Krishna is smiling, Savilasahasam. What kind of smile is that? Simply by looking at that smile, one's heart gets satisfied. Tadeva Ramyam Ruchiram Navam Navam. Tadeva Shashvan Manaso Mahotsavam. It's given. Simply by hearing about Krishna, looking at the beautiful form of Krishna, Tadeva Shashvan Manaso Mahotsavam. Mahotsava. Utsava means a festival. Mahotsava means greatest festival. Manaso Mahotsavam means greatest festival of our mind. Tadeva Shashvan Manaso Mahotsavam means the eternal great festival of our mind. That's what it means. Simply looking at the face of Krishna, it's like enjoying it is enjoying an eternal festival. A festival that never stops. Shashvan, Ajo Nityo Shashvato Yam Purano, Na Hanyate Hanyamane Sharire. Shashvat means permanent, eternal. Shashvan Manaso Mahotsavam. So this is the description that's actually given about a beautiful form of Krishna. Yasyananam Makara Kundala Charu Karna, Brajat Kapola Shubhagam Savilasa Hasam. Nitya Utsavam, again, same benefit is given. Sa Nitya Utsavam. Manaso Mahotsavam. So you will see similarities in how devotees actually describe. So Krishna's face is like eternal festival. You just look at his face, you can never see him enough. You look at his face, many times you come, you just keep staring, and that's all you can do. Any photo, you can just keep on looking at him. You feel good. Yes, I feel good. Eyes are satisfied. All the desires which your eyes have, which we don't even know, they get satisfied simply looking at him. That's what Rukmini ji is saying. Nityotsavam na tatribir. What kind of festival is that? Na tatribir. One never gets satiated. Nityotsavam na tatribir drishibir pibantyo. Naryo narascha mutita kupita nimescha. Gopis are cursing the creator for having created the eyelids. Why? Such beautiful form of the Lord, which is the eternal festival of one's mind, which can never satiate one's mind. They are looking at it. Momentarily, the shutter comes and closes. And they are cursing Brahma. There is a flaw in your creation. So this is the description of the beauty of Krishna from the eyes of Shukadeva Goswami. Barhapedam natavara vapuhu karnayo karnikaram. Vibradvasha kanaka kapisham vaijayantim chamalam randranvenu radarasudaya purayan gopa vrinder vrindaranyam swapadaramanam pravishad gita kirtihi. This is the perception of gopis as Krishna is walking into the forest of Vrindavan. Barhapedam, he whose head is decorated by a crown made of peacock feathers. Not just one peacock feather, many. Barhapedam natavara vapuhu. He is not walking just like how normal people would do. Natavara vapuhu means even his walk is like a dance with the gait of a lion. Karnayo karnikaram. Karnikara is a beautiful blue color flower which Krishna places. Sometimes you will see, especially on Sundays, Krishna has big jabara flower there, yellow. But actually Krishna has blue color karnika. He'll put it in this ear, close to his ears. He decorates himself. Barhapedam natavara vapuhu karnayo karnikaram. Bibhratvasham kanaka kapisham. He's wearing an yellow dhoti. How is that yellow dhoti? It defeats the brightness of gold. Kanaka kapisham it's given. Like a molten gold, and if you see a molten gold light emanating from gold, his dhoti, the garments that he's wearing is like that. Vaijayantim chamalam, again, Vaijayanti, the special garland made of 5 flowers. Kunda, Mandara, Parijata, Kamala, Tulasi. Randra and Venur. Krishna has 3 types of flute. Venu, Murali, Vamsi. And Prabhupada explains about each one of them. If you read Nectar of Devotion, Prabhupada actually explains, giving more details about that. Venu is about like 6 inches long. Then Murali, 18 inches, that's the longest one. And then Vamsi, 15 inches, that's somewhere in between. And each one of them have certain number of holes also. Like Venu has 6 and Murali 4, Vamsi about 9. And Prabhupada mentions the material that's used to make these flutes also. It can be made of marble, gold, or even a simple bamboo. So, if you read Nectar of Devotion, Prabhupada gives a lot of details there. So, in this particular verse, Venu is highlighted. Randran Venur, Adara Sudaya. What is he doing? He is holding the flute and he is filling the hole of this Venu flute with the nectar emanating from his lips. That's what it means. Adara Sudaya. Apurayan Gopa Vrindaya. As he is filling the holes of this Venu with the nectar emanating from his lips, the Gopas, they were walking along with him in that festive mood, joyously, being so blissful in the company of Krishna. Vrindaranyam Swapadaramanam. As Krishna is walking, his lotus feet decorates the fortunate land of Vrindavana. Krishna's lotus feet has 19 symbols, and there is significance for each one of them also. Right foot has about 8, left is 11. So as Krishna is walking, Krishna's footprint is leaving all those 19 symbols. That's the decoration of the land of Vrindavana. Pravishat Gita Kirtihi. Gopis, as they are seeing, this is their vision. I'll finish with this verse. Brahma is also seeing. After Brahma Vimohan Leela, you would see Krishna holding rice on his hands, on his left hand. Yogurt rice mixed with fruits on his left hand. And there you will see Brahmaji offering obeisances to him for having participated or for having tried to test his Supreme Lord. Naumidhyate bravapushe tadidambaraya gunjavatamsa paripicha lasanmukaya vanyasraje kavalavetra visana venu lakshmashriye mridupate pashupangajaya. He says, as he is looking at the Supreme Lord, he is glorifying the beauty of this Supreme Lord. Naumidya, because he is in the mood of offering prayers, he says, Naumidya, I offer my respects. Actually, I have to speak on one more verse. I have 5 more minutes. Just now I'm remembering. We haven't spoken on Radharani yet. Purna Purnatama. There is someone greater than that. So Naumidya Tebra. So Naumi means Navami, Namami. I offer my respects. Naumidya Tebra Vapuse. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Lord, whose body is having dark blue complexion like that of a nimbus cloud. Tadit Ambaraya. Same. Yellow dhoti. Gunjavatamsa. Krishna actually has 2 types of garlands. One is a garland that's made of gunja berries. It's a very small berry. You can see it even now in Vrindavan. Prabhu can tell you. It's very, very small gunja berries. Reddish. It has black dots also. They dry that and Krishna likes wearing that. Few rows adorning his neck. Like we put tulsi. 3. Like that Krishna puts 4, 5 big ones. Gunjavatamsa, Paripicha, peacock feather. Lasan Mukaya, beautiful, effulgent face. Vanyasraje, his neck is adorned with the beautiful Vaijayanti garland. Sometimes you will come across this term Vanamala, Vanamali, forest flowers. Vana means like Vrindavana. The forest of Vrindadevi is Vrindavana. Vana means forest. Vana Mala means the garland made of forest flowers. Vanamali means one who is wearing the garland made of forest flowers. One name of Krishna. Vanyasraje, one who wears the garland made of forest flowers. Kavala Vetra Visana Venu. 4 things he is holding. One is Kavala, is a morsel of food. Vetra, stick. Vishana, buffalo horn. Venu, again a Venu coming, flute. 4 things Krishna is holding as Brahma is saying. Next time you see the picture, it's in Krishna book. Beautiful artwork of Brahmaji offering prayers. At that time you will see 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, you know it. That artwork is based on this particular verse. Kavala Vetra Visana Venu Lakshma Shriye Mridupate. That Supreme Lord whose soft lotus feet is standing on this dust of Vrindavana, and he who is known as Pasupangaja or Gopa. Pashupa, Pashupa, Gopa. Gopa means one who is protecting the cows. Go means cows, Pa, like Lokapala. One who is the protector of Loka is Lokapala. Likewise, Gopal means one who is protecting the cows. Pashupa also means the same. Pashupa Angajaya means, Pashupa means cowherd. Pashupa Anga means the son of the cowherd, which is Nanda Maharaj. So he offers his respects. Now, coming to the final part of this verse, Prabhupada says, those who worship Krishna, they are called, we discussed this before, come on, Karshnas. Those who worship Vishnu are called Vaishnavas. Those who worship who are called Gaudiyas? Radharani. So we are following Gaudiya Vaishnavism. So what is the mode of Gaudiyas? Here Prabhupada is saying, the devotees of the Lord in Vaikuntha planets wants to see the Lord as the most beautiful. But the devotees in Gokula or Krishna Loka want to see Radharani as more beautiful. So Gaudiya Vaishnavas means we are worshippers of Srimati Radharani. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he says in Radhakunda, as he was taking his disciples around, he sees a few Sahajiyas coming from the opposite side, and he tells to his disciples, there is one difference between them and us. And he says, they are also worshipping Krishna, we are also worshipping Krishna. But they are directly worshipping Krishna. But we worship Srimati Radharani, she happens to love Krishna, so we worship Krishna. So Gaudiya Vaishnava's relationship with Krishna is that we are actually worshippers of Radharani, but because Srimati Radharani loves Krishna, we also worship Krishna. So here there is a pastime also in Vrindavan. Once when Krishna along with the Gopas, they stop the gopis asking them tax. You need to give us some dairy products. Then the gopis say, why should we? Then they say, don't you know Krishna? He is the son of Nanda Maharaj, who's the king of Vrindavan. And he is the heir apparent, crown prince. You better don't ruffle feathers with him. You have to give him. Then they say, no, Vrindavana, as the name indicates, it is the forest of Vrindadevi. Where is Krishna here? Then again they insist, no, you have to pay tax. Then they say, all right, let's go and speak to Vrindadevi herself. So then everyone goes to Vrindadevi. Then the gopis ask Vrindadevi, who does this forest belong to? We are saying the forest belongs to you.